Hi, my name is Nancy. Welcome to my channel, Running with Scissors. If you're new, welcome. If returning, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about a little failure I had with that fourth Easter dress and what I'm going to do about it. Also, I did learn how to do a blind stitch on my sewing machine, and I now know how to shirr. So I do have some pluses to discuss with you. If that sounds interesting to you, don't go away. Okay, first I'd like to thank Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting this hashtag so we can all get together and share our makes and our wins and our failures, as this case may be today. But it's good to get together and talk about what we've been doing this past week and what we plan to do. Okay, before we get to that dress, I did learn how to use the blind stitch on my sewing machine. And let me just show you. I did it on this dress, the last dress, and I don't know that you can really see what I've done, but I did do it. I do notice though that when you're sewing with satin, it does show a little bit. It's just the way the stitches and bites into the fabric, but it is better than stitching it all around with your machine or even trying to spend all that time doing my hand. But I did learn how to do it. I tell you though, are you like me and try to make things more difficult than it really is? I got my manual out and it wasn't helpful at all. So I look at a couple of YouTube videos and they're saying, you fold it over, you get your hem, and then you flip it. What do you mean flip it? And when I did, I flipped it over too far and ended up with a crease, almost like a seam. It took me a while I would watch it and she said, now you flip it over this way, and I do it. And it finally, after a couple of times, it probably was 3 or 4 or 5 times, I finally figured out what they meant by flipping it over and sewing along the fold with the foot that you use when you're doing a blind hem. It took me a bit of time practicing on scrap fabric to finally figure out what they were talking about. It's not that hard, but for some reason I couldn't see it, and I'm a very visual learner, and if I don't see it, I'm scratching my head thinking, how do you do this? But I finally figured it out after watching it a few times, and once you see it, you know it and you do it. So I did do that. So that helped. Okay. Well, I did learn how to shirr. Now this dress, I'm going to tell you about this dress before I show the shirring. I'll pop up the dress pattern. We found it on Etsy, but I'm going to tell you something. This has got to be the worst instructions ever made. The directions for the shirring says, sew elastic thread. That's it. Sew elastic thread. Not how many lines of it would you do. There's no lines, in the waistband. Another thing about that waistband, when I'm cutting out the pattern pieces, there's this long piece and it said belt. I'm thinking belt. There's no belt in this dress. Why does it say belt? And I couldn't get it. And then I got to the directions and they're talking about sew and overcast the waistband to the top of the skirt. And finally it hit me, the waistband and the belt are one and the same. So I don't know what happened there. Belt in the pattern piece, waistband in the instructions. So that was just bad. And then the sleeves, they just say, sew and overcast the sleeve in the armhole. That's the directions. If you had never sewn before, this would be just a nightmare. It was bad enough when I know how to sew. They also wanted me to put a 5-inch invisible zipper, which I thought, that's craziness. I'm not going to do that at all. So what I did was I just did a keyhole and put a little button on the top. But the problem with the dress is that my granddaughter just didn't like the way it fit on her. It didn't look like the picture. In the picture, the shirring is like under the bust down. So it's a real fitted look. and it was too, I don't know, ballooning out looking. And so I added more shirring to the top, and it just didn't quite make it. And I told her, if you're not happy with this dress, I'll make you a new one. We still have 2 weeks. Don't worry about it. I'll wear the dress. I'll wear it. I can wear it around the house. It's not that big a deal. But it just wasn't what she was expecting for what she'd wear on Easter. In fact, after she saw the first 3 dresses I made with the satin and the overlay, she said, I'd kind of like to have a dress with maybe a lace or some type of tulle overlay as well. I didn't know that she wanted anything that fancy, but we're going to go back to Joann's. They do have a sale on their Simplicity patterns, $1.99 Thursday through Sunday, and we're just going to look and see what they have and look at the fabric. And I said, I'll sew you another dress. But let me show you the dress. It doesn't look that bad, but when she tries it on, it just didn't quite, it wasn't quite what she was looking for. See, there's the shirring. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I did learn how to shirr. Oh, I almost forgot. I wanted to show you something. I'll be right back. You know, when you go to buy shirring elastic at the store, you get these little bitty little spools. Who knows how much is on them? I went to Amazon. I bought these 2 bad boys. They're heavy. I got these both in a pack for around $10. This will last me a good long time. But yeah, I don't remember. I have to look it up. I'll put a link in the description box of where I got these. But yeah, you got some black and white. They come together. I said about around $10, and that's what I bought for that. Now, about 2 years ago, I did try shirring for the first time, and I kind of gave it up because when I tried it, it just wouldn't draw up, and I didn't know why, and I just kind of quit. So then I said, I'm going to do it this time. So you wrap it around, and all the directions tell you not to wrap it around too tight. So I wrapped it around, and it just was not drawing up at all. So I looked up a couple of YouTube videos to explain how to do it, and they told me everything I already knew, but it still wasn't working. So I pulled up another one, and here's where I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. If you pull up a video and you're having an issue, go down to the comments, because somewhere, probably somebody has had the same issue and they might have an answer for you. So, like I said, I was looking at the video, and there's telling me what to do, and I said, I've done all that. It's still not, drawing up. And I found a video, or a comment from the video that said, if you have a brother machine, and I do, she says, I found that I was not wrapping it around tight enough. And I thought, oh. So what I did, you don't want to take it and just stretch it out as far as you can. Maybe it'll show up better on the black one, but yeah, you don't want to take it and just stretch it way out. What I did was I just kind of give it a little, a little bit of firm stretch and wrapped it around. And that made all the difference in the world. I had it on too loose, because it was on too loose, it wasn't drawing up. So I rewound it, but this time I pulled it a little bit, not a lot, but pulled it a little bit and give it a little bit more firmer turn on the bobbin, and it worked great. And so it shirred, it did, and I was pretty tickled with that. So I now know how to shirr, and I plan on doing that a lot more in the future. But as I said, she tried on the dress, and it just didn't quite look the way she thought it would look, and it certainly didn't look anything like what the picture showed. And I said, because of the shirring, it kind of holds in your waist, I can wear this around the house. It's not going to go to waste for sure. Absolutely not going to go to waste. I will wear it. So we're going to find something else. All right. So that's the story of this sad dress, but it'll be okay. Maybe I'll even wear it on a video after it's completely done. Okay. Now, let's look at the poll I had. Interestingly enough, it wasn't an even number of people. There are 40 people that voted on the pattern and 44 on the dress. Or was it the other way around? And it was 40 and 44. So about 4 people voted for one and not the other. Well, as it turned out, and I'm not really surprised, The winner was this fabric from Hobby Lobby. And tell you the truth, this would have been what I would have picked if I, on my own, I would pick that. I like that the best. I think it's has more of a spring look to it. And then I liked all the patterns, all 3 patterns. I'd have been happy with any of the patterns, but this was the winner. And I said I'm going to do the one with the ruffle. And that's the one I actually would have picked myself. So what I'll do is I'll probably start cutting this out and getting this ready to go until I can take my granddaughter to the store again, and we can look at fabrics and patterns, and we can start all over again. As I said, I've got 2 more weeks to go, so I've got time, and I can start cutting out on this, and we'll get that going. You know, when you sew, not everything comes out right. I mean, my first 3 dresses are just gorgeous. I love them. I'm pretty proud of how they came out, but well, if you've sewn enough, you know that you're going to make something more than once that just doesn't quite look the way you want it to, or doesn't quite match what you saw on the picture. But this pattern I would not recommend this pattern at all. The directions were just practically non-existent, and it just, yeah. So that's what I got for you today. Hopefully next week I'll be able to show you a little more as far as what I made. I'll have this cut out and started, and we'll see what I can do with my granddaughter's dress, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, I want you all to take care. And if you have not subscribed, that'd be wonderful if you would. Give me a little thumbs up and hit the little bell so you know when I put out my next video. And I'll see you next time. So you all take care. God bless. Goodbye.